Hello everybody, and welcome back to Monster Hunter World. Today we're going to be doing the Kestodan Kerfluffle quest, which is essentially kill a bunch of herbivores that are really small and sometimes hard to hit. I'm not going to spoil what happens in the thing because I already know. This is the beginning of the post-commentary videos, just FYI, so that's what's different here. So yeah, we already ate. Let's go and get started, because this is another tutorial-esque mission. I think it's more about just getting you used to, well, finding things as they come in quests, because later in the game, anything and everything is on the table. There is nothing off limits. You could be hunting one thing and two other things show up. Hell, I've seen 4 monsters in one place at a time. So this is kind of in that area. Not really, but kind of later. Anyway, here we go. There's not going to be a whole lot of commentary on how to kill Kestodan, because if you need help learning how to kill Kestodan, you are in for a world of hurt. So, this is mostly going to be about, actually, I have no idea what in the hell I'm going to talk about. You'd think I'd realize I need to plan this crap out, because this is going to be like an hour worth of material. The one thing I guess I could say about Kestodan is, as you've just noticed, it has a very, very hard-plated head. So even if a greatsword can't break it, about the only thing that probably could... no, I can't think of anything that actually would. Normally greatswords, if you go the iron path, which I also neglected to mention, I guess I will talk on that as well. I noticed in the first couple missions, I started talking about the merits of the bone greatsword. This is basically a series for people that want to learn how to use the greatsword. Not that I'm a master or anything, but I'm just going to tell you what all I know. The bone greatsword, the one I'm using there, the one that looks like a... well, it's what it looks like there. It has the highest damage. No, I don't know about the highest damage. It has a lot higher damage than the iron equivalent, but the iron equivalent has more sharpness. So that means basically you could hit things that you couldn't do before that wouldn't bounce. Maybe with the iron greatsword you might have been able to pierce through the Kestodan head. I don't know. I never really used it. I can tell you why I don't use it now, is just because I can't find the one freaking component I need to make the next tier of it, and it's like way back in low rank greatsword land, so I'm using my high rank bone weapon right now. But anyway, yeah, we're apparently we're, you know, still trying to kill Kestodan. So, I know basically where they are. I think they're down at the beach, if my memory serves me correctly. Why I remember that, I don't know. But, yeah, you're going to be noticing a smattering of collecting. That's just what you do in Monster Hunter. If you don't collect stuff, you're not going to get very far. Well, I guess you could get pretty far, but it's going to be a lot more difficult. This was just pure, I wanted to see what it dropped. I had a sneaking suspicion it was just raw meat. But until you actually kill something and carve it, you never really know what something drops, right? Right. I think that's just your rationalization for destroying an ecosystem. Maybe. Maybe. I don't care, though. But seriously, though, I'm low on raw meat as it is, because I don't go around killing stuff like that. As a greatsword user, you don't do that. Well, I mean, you can, as evidenced, well, pretty much right here. You can, but... man, is it annoying as hell if things go even the slightest bit wrong. To be fair, though, I really should have been using, like, my wide attacks, but I thought this was pretty neat right there. Not many people try and true charge small animals. It's not really needed, but damn does it make you feel good. And that's all that matters, baby. Makes you feel good. I guess I hit the back of the head. I thought I was hitting the back there. Oh, whatever. As you notice, the females, they don't really do anything. So I really should not have been paying much attention to them. Lesson learned. Pay attention to the male. They're the ones that will actually hit you. The females can hit you, they just don't do it very often. They mostly just kind of yell and try and get the male's attention, and then he's the one that, you know, does stuff with you. Again, totally overkill. And I love every second of it. We're going to skip past this looting because there's a lot of looting and it takes, like, I think I timed it 45 seconds when I was editing it earlier, so yeah. If it comes a time like that where I'm just carving, 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 carving. I'm probably going to skip it. So we find our first tracks. Yeah, this is supposed to be your introduction to the Great Jackrass. You know that thing I killed 2 of last time? Yeah, this is supposed to be the big reveal of it. Oh my god, there's a Great Jackrass in these woods. To be fair though, I don't think I ever saw him eat anything, so I guess now you have. That's what he does. I actually find him more difficult after he's eaten. Maybe that's intended. Because as a greatsword user, by the way, as a greatsword user, I should really sharpen my weapon here. I didn't do that for the longest time, and it annoys me watching it back now, but... Yeah, when he eats, his moveset, it kind of changes. Because as a greatsword user, usually you want to sit kind of in front of him. I don't think you can cut his tail off. As a greatsword user, this is one of the few monsters where you kind of want to be on the head, like hitting the head. So, that part's fine, but sometimes you want to hit from the side. Hitting from the side after he's eaten is kind of risky unless you can read his frames and know what he's doing. I have no idea where I was going here. He's never been up here. I guess I was just following the tracks. But normally with him, after he's eaten, you want to stay in front of him. He can lunge forward, but it's a hell of a lot safer because I think it's a longer windup. That might just be my own personal bias, but it seems like it's a lot easier to dodge if you're in front of him. Because if you're beside him after he's eaten, he'll just roll on top of you like a fat man. Or is it a woman? Well, either way, you don't want to be rolled on top of by that thing, so... It doesn't really hurt that much in low rank. Hell, it doesn't even really hurt all that much in high rank either. But in high rank, he does get a few new moves. But he's never really been much of a threat. I assume in G rank he might be a threat. I'm assuming G rank is still a thing. If it's not a thing, I'm going to be a little miffed. But I'm having enough trouble in high rank as it is. But we're not going to get into that. That'd be spoilers in the future. And we shan't have too many of those. I guess I spoiled that. I'm using a bone weapon still. That's not much of a spoiler, though. I love bone weapons. I always have. Except for things like Uragan or Barok. Then I sometimes use the... I have no idea what I was... I guess I was being really optimistic and thinking, he might circle back. No, he hadn't noticed me yet. There was no chance of it. Usually for things to notice you, or to circle back, they have to notice you. But yeah, mounting is something you're going to see me do a lot. It is very advantageous for a greatsword user. It might seem counterintuitive. Barok, shouldn't you leave that to the insect glaives and the dual swords and what have you? Well, maybe. My argument is, when we do knock the thing over, we topple it. Oh man, we do a lot of damage. I mean, not in this point in the game, but if you get a level 3 charge off, I've seen 200 damage just from toppling the thing, and of course the big, oh my god, you can swing really hard now for long periods of time because it falls down. And this is your bread and butter as a greatsword user. If you cannot take advantage of when that thing is down, yeah, it's gonna suck. Also, get used to really, really crappy angles. Occasionally, it will happen. You're gonna look like an idiot sometimes with a greatsword. Other times, you're gonna look like an apostle, kind of like that, where you know exactly what the enemy's going to do, and you just go, no, you're not allowed to do that. Sometimes you'll knock an enemy over when you had no intention of doing so, and you go, oh good, I was totally out of position, I'm not ready for this at all. Good job, good job, me. Sometimes felines will flashbang the thing when you're 20 feet away and you're nowhere near the thing. These are the daily annoyances of a greatsword user. That was just plain stupid on my end. I thought I was far enough to the side that I could, like, hit him as he charged my feline, hopefully. I was banking on that. He didn't charge the feline. But yeah, you definitely want to keep your greatsword sharp because you're kind of the one in the group. Generally speaking, if the etiquette is still the way it was back in 3U when I played, the etiquette was greatswords near the tail, hammers and hunting horns near the head, and everything else just kind of around the sides. The reason for this was, if you are, say, a sword and shield user, you have a lot of light attacks. The problem with it is, if you're near the head and the hammer guy is near the head, you're probably going to interrupt him, and that's no bueno. I mean, that's his job. His job is to be near the head and knock that thing out. I mean, it's not that you have to, but that's kind of your niche. You know, you do KO damage. I thought this was a great sword tutorial. Look, I'm just saying. in randoms. I have done some SOSs. I'm sure people think that all I do is play with Conceived Sorrow and Glasgow. No, I played with randoms before. Quite a bit lately, as a matter of fact, because I've been trying to farm things. But that's not the point. That was just, oh, so painful to watch. I was like, that was the perfect opportunity, but I wasn't quite used to the aiming yet. Aiming might look a little weird, but it's really not that bad once you get used to it. Also, that screen shake. I don't know why it feels so good, but it feels good. I've heard that same thing with the Charge Blade as well, because I don't know what its attacks are. Hell, I don't even understand the weapon, so I can't talk on that one. But yeah, try not to use uppercut attacks too much. I've been sent flying more than my fair share of times. To my knowledge, I've never sent anybody flying unless I was intending to do it, because I don't use uppercuts. That's a rule I have. If I'm in a multiplayer session, I never, ever use anything that could, you know, launch somebody. It's just bad form. It's rude. There are going to be accidents, no doubt, if you use, say... Well, I know at least Charge Blade has it. I've been launched a few times with the Charge Blade through, I'm assuming, no intention. But it doesn't make it any less annoying, you know. But I know I've screwed a couple people over because I accidentally hit them with a True Charge. And if you hit somebody with a True Charge, they kind of like stuck. You know, like, if you ever fought Diablos yet, you know when he goes underground, like if you're right near him, or if he goes underneath you to attack somebody else, you like stumble for a little bit? That's what happens if you accidentally smack someone with a True Charge. They go, oh, I can't move. Which, to be fair, there was one instance where someone launched me and it actually helped me. I think I was paralyzed and Conceived Sorrow launched me up over the monster. Like, it was like an arcing shot over the thing. And I used a drop attack and I actually mounted the monster. I was like, wow, that went from a really shitty situation into a win. I don't think he intended to do it, but that was really cool. Oh yes, I forgot about this cutscene. Do people actually want me to, like, shut up for these cutscenes, or since it's in Monster Hunter language, you don't mind if I yammer on? It'd be easier for me to just shut up, but I guess I'll keep talking. This is supposed to be the next big baddie that we're supposed to, you know, take care of. To be fair, he is a bit more dangerous than I first gave him credit for. Is it a woman? It doesn't really matter, it's an animal. It's a stupid animal at that. Actually, this is one of the most one of the most cowardly monsters, I believe. I think it said at the first sign of anything else, it runs away. Yeah, the Puke. I think that's how you pronounce that. Well, I was going to say, as you might be able to tell from its body color, but you can't really see it, it is one of those things, bright colors in nature. Usually you want to stay away from it. But yeah, it's kind of... It's not very brave. Yeah. The tail is severable, if anybody's wondering. If you ever want to know if a tail is severable, just ask a greatsword user. We almost always know if something's breakable or not, tail-wise. But that's, yeah. Puke is still not all that bad. The only time Puke can be really, really bad is if you don't have an antidote, or if you don't have any antidotes. Which is kind of a shame on you. If you know you're facing a poison thing, you should probably bring poison curatives. As you get higher rank, I plan on making a poison set, so that if I face a Rathian, or Rathalos, or really anything that can poison me, if you build a poison set, you can, well, just kind of ignore it. It doesn't, if you get a level 3, I think you're immune to poison. Level 1 kind of sucks. I think it just lowers the amount of time you're poisoned. Level 2 is a bit better, but you really want to shoot for level 3 in that. I'm just going all over the place, aren't I? Yeah, I guess so. We did? Oh, right, we did, that rock. I was like, we did? Oh, wait, I wasn't paying attention to the cutscene. It's been like a week since I watched this. Zora Magdaros. Knowing what I know now, that fight... Actually, I guess it wasn't that bad. But we're getting off topic now. I'm not going to talk about Zora Magdaros any more than the game is right now. So yeah, we're kind of just left to our own devices. We're supposed to go talk to, essentially, the vendor. The only thing I ever bought from him is trap tools, just because I never If they're there, I never saw it because I'm incompetent. But I never figured out how you could, what do you call it, craft trap tools. And a funny thing is, in Monster Hunter World, it is so much easier to capture something. Well, I take that back. It was basically the same in 3U. I was gonna say, because when they like limp back to go and, you know, sleep, you can kind of just put a trap and throw 2 trank bombs and it's done. It's over with. There are some disadvantages. They're not a lot. There's one disadvantage I know of for capturing, excuse me, is that some things are carve only, meaning if you have to kill the thing to get the drop. It's pretty rare, but that is something you should keep in mind before you just go capture nuts. But keep in mind, if you do capture, you get a lot more materials. So, you know, if you just need like a scatter shot of materials, capturing is the way to go. If you're looking for one specific thing and it's only carve, well, you're killing it. Also, fun info, if you do decide to kill something, normally the last 10-20%, it's kind of estimating, of the health, they go into... It kind of depends. If you warm them down, they just kind of huff and puff and stand there. A lot of times, though, they'll get really, really angry and just go into rage mode, basically. A lot of times, that's where I die the most, and it's the most frustrating because I know they're almost dead. For the record, if you want to know when something can be captured, because I'm just going all over the place here, if you look on your minimap, you might see a skull, like, blinking. That means they're near death and they're capturable. If you see their mouth watering, that means they're out of stamina, and they're probably going to go try and eat. The game really is like an ecosystem. The Jaguarus eats those herbivores. Where do the herbivores gather, generally? Well, if you know that, then you know generally where the Jaguarus is going to go, if you don't have the scout flies telling you where to go. It's stuff like that that makes me really love Monster Hunter. It really feels like a living ecosystem. Also, while I have been rambling on about that, I was looking for my upgrade to my greatsword. You know, because I like that. This is going to be a staple of the series too. Gear is one of the big, big things in Monster Hunter. You don't level up your character, you get better gear. Which is fine. I wish you could add more than health than 150 max, but I think that's the max health. I say that based on I got the chef's platter, which gave me plus 50 health, and I tried to eat a max nutrients. Wouldn't let me do it, so I assume 150 is kind of the max. But yeah, I was trying to figure out, do I want to? Screw it. I got the bones, why not? And it looks kind of funny. Looking back on it, though, I wish we could hide our Palico's gear, or at least their helmet. Like we can the player helmet. But you can hide your helmet. I didn't know this for a couple days. I think Glasgow told me. Contrary to what you may believe, you don't do that in the menus. Or no, you don't do that in the equipment menu or the blacksmith. You do that in the start menu. Go to options, I think, if you want to do that. Just FYI, because while I love my Diablos helm, it doesn't really look all that good, in my opinion. That's a spoiler, using a Diablos helm now. Dude, if you know, it doesn't matter. It's a helmet. Anyway, because I'm not even going into a lot, because you've already seen Diablos on my channel anyway. I'm not going into some of the other stuff. That I've seen some things, man. Some things you don't want to see. Wow, I really took my time here, didn't I? I think I was trying to figure out, do I want to give him the greatsword? How badass would it be to have a feline with a greatsword? But apparently I did not want to part with those materials quite yet. Like I said, this is kind of all new to me. I don't remember this at all. So I'm just watching the screen, same as you are, just commentating as we go along. And we're only about, not even halfway done yet today. So we got a lot to cover still. Hopefully my voice will hold up. And I don't freeze to death because I turned the heat off about an hour ago. And I think it's like 12 degrees outside. I'm sure I'll be fine, don't worry. But it's better than hearing that loud air conditioning or loud furnace noise. This, I was just trying to figure out what all the skills were. Now, personally, as a greatsword user, I prefer quick sheath, I prefer crit draw, and marathon runner. Also, if you can get a feline escape artist as a food thing, oh, you're set. Now, why do I like these? Well, because that way your rotation goes from tackle, true charge to crit, tackle, true charge. Generally, it's more damage if you can take the extra time. If you know the thing's on the ground for a long time, I personally advocate just taking the second swing. It may only do about, well, right now, I guess it'd probably only do about 40 damage. But as a kicker, it only makes your true charge have to charge twice. So you're, in essence, you're trading extra damage for less time to charge your big attack. With you're trading time, I guess. Hopefully you get what I'm saying. I'm not explaining it very well. But that's the thing with Greatsword. It's not a very mechanically demanding weapon. The hard part is figuring out what swing to use and when to even try to hit your big swing. Do you cut off your swing early to tackle through an enemy, charge? Or do you tackle your second thing, to try and get the big true charge? Oh, the thing moved or swung its tail. You missed wildly. It's all a big mind game. That's why I love the Greatsword. It's not about twitch reflexes like, say, the Twin Blades, or it's not as mechanically demanding and have to have you memorize things like, say, the Charge Blade. At least I think that's complicated. I can't even figure out how to use the damn thing. No, seriously, I tried to learn how to use it. I could not learn how to use it. At least not without a video tutorial. And I've yet to look any of those up because, honestly, we already have a Charge Blade user in our little group. I don't really want to double up because I don't think I would be anywhere near as good as I am anyway. So yeah, how to accept a quest. All these things just popping up. So next time, or rather I guess next we don't have any of those, so we don't have any of those either, so I should probably go do what, the game's telling me to do, or I could do that again, but I'm not going to do that again. Already did it once, thank you. Not doing it again. So we need to go talk to the provisions guy, which I think is in the trade yard. Yes, he is. But I already said I don't buy much from the trade yard. By the time you get to high rank, you can afford to buy a little bit more. I think right now I'm sitting on like 50,000 zenny. I just spent like 20, 30,000 on upgrades for the record, so you can pretty much buy whatever you want in higher. Low rank, though, I would recommend saving your money unless you really need traps or, don't buy potions. Don't do that. And for those who are wondering, well, what if you run out of herbs or honey, man? Then I'm guessing you never played another Monster Hunter because you quite literally get a farm. Well, they don't call it a farm in this one. The one I played before, they called it an actual farm because you were farming items. But they give you basically a way to just get whatever you want, whenever you want. Like after a quest, the harvest will come in and you can get whatever item you want. The bounty is a little more complicated, but more so just a time sink, I think, more than anything. Because while you're out killing something, you might say investigation added or bounty added. I forget what it says. And then you come back here, you go, okay, I want to do this bounty. That way, whenever you go to the quest board, you go to investigations and they're listed there. Only the ones you have checkmark are listed there. It took me a while to figure that one out, so I'm trying to educate everybody so you don't be like me and ignore investigations for like the first 10 hours. Probably, actually might have been 20 hours because I didn't do investigations for a long time. Also, if you need a material, then investigations can be a really nice thing. Like if you need a Diablos horn, because this just happened to me yesterday, I needed a majestic Diablos horn. Could not get one to drop for the life of me. Me and Glasgow killed him, had to be 3 or 4 times. And then we started doing investigations. And investigations usually give you an extra few items for getting it done. In our case, it was a capture quest, which was kind of cool because, you get extra materials anyway. So I ended up getting like 5 or 6 extra materials just from doing the investigation. So that's a neat little tip for you if you need a certain material from a certain monster. It's not catch-all. There are faults with it, but yeah, basically, next time we're going, or rather next video, we're going to be going to the ancient forest. And I guess we will have to cut it off, well, here. So, yep, see you in a minute.